The views, opinions, and positions expressed in this podcast called Mood Food are in no way the views, opinions, and positions of the Department of the Air Force, DoD, United States government, including resources listed in today's podcast.
And thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to Mood Food Podcast. The title of today's podcast is Flush the Toxins. I'm your host, Jason Gordon, and we want to tell Kimmy from San Diego thank you for taking time to read today's disclaimer. I appreciate you so much, and thank you. I finally got you on the show. Thank you for participating in that. Thank you to each and every one of you that continues to download us and like us and follow us on all of the major platforms out there. We appreciate you taking the time to put in those reviews. They are very helpful, especially with the Apple Podcast platform. So if you haven't done so, could you take just a few moments to give us some stars and to put a nice little comment in there? We would greatly appreciate that in advance. All right, and we also have a Facebook page, so you can find us at Mood Food Podcast. Very easy to find. Like us and follow us. I have created a YouTube channel, and I'm uploading all of the episodes with a video background to the YouTube channel. I'm going to try to do some live episodes and upload them as well, so you can kind of see what goes on and how these are made. And then we have an Instagram. Now, I'm still figuring out Instagram, so please forgive me as I work through that. It's weird to me, and I'm thinking, what's the point of Instagram? But I am jumping on board because that seems to be a very good marketing tool for the podcast, and we're getting a lot of good responses already from having our platform up there on Instagram. If you have any show ideas, or if you have compassion about something that you would like to talk on the show about, you can email me at moodfoodpodcast@gmail.com, and that way you can get in touch with us, discuss what you would like to talk about, and I'd be more than willing to have you on the show as long as it's something that is not criticizing anybody else or sending out any hate stuff out there. So I'm all about positivity and us lifting each other up, especially during the times that we're living in now. Make sure that you keep reviewing the items that I've been sharing with you weekly on this podcast, because the more you review, the more you will see yourselves making that great progress as you are provoked by situations that can trigger unhealthy thinking patterns and unwanted reactions. And remember that reviewing is part of your mood food diet. Today's podcast is called Flush the Toxins. And you may have certain people in your lives out there and that will create certain situations for you that can trigger some very, very unhealthy thinking patterns about yourself or others and create some destructive behaviors. That is toxic. And identifying the toxic influences in our lives is very difficult sometimes, especially when love can be blind. And you need to take steps in your life. If you notice that someone in your life is just not healthy for you, put some boundaries in place and create a new life without them if you can. And that way you can improve on your overall mental health and physical health over time. Did you know that according to Mental Health America, that an average of 80% of Americans have experienced some form of abuse, whether it's emotional, physical, sexual, or something in nature that hasn't been healthy in a relationship? 80% have reported that they've been victimized by any of those types of abuses that I have, by those types of abuses that I just shared with you. That's a lot, right? I mean, that is a lot. And approximately 75%, say you're working in a toxic work environment, 75% of U.S. employees interviewed in 2018 endorsed working in a toxic environment. That is huge. And that may include working with friends that are toxic, family members that are toxic. You have to put those healthy boundaries in place so that you don't become consumed by the negativity that they may project towards you to maintain control over you. Today, I'm going to be giving you a few traits to look out for of toxic people. And this is a great format that I found on Mental Health America. And they have a great site out there. If you haven't been to their site, they have a lot of great topics that they discuss. They're staying up on the here and now of what's happening. And I thought this was a very important topic to talk about because in my own practice, I do hear and see a lot of relationship issues. And a lot of it has to do with living with toxic, negative people. So we're going to talk today a little bit about manipulation, how the folks make you feel bad about yourself, being judged by them, how the negativity just makes you feel like you're down in the dumps sometimes, being passive aggressive, self-centered people, difficulty with anger management, and controlling people. So I'm going to run down that list for you, and I hope that something I say today, you will be able to identify someone in your life that you might need to put some boundaries in place with and make those positive changes for yourself. You deserve it. You don't deserve being caught in a cycle of negativity that constantly beats you down, in and out, day in and day out, right? So manipulation. Let's talk about manipulation. Manipulation, when you're around toxic people, it's often a very good trait that they have. That is a strength that negative people have, is they can be very manipulative. They may seem to be genuine when it's in their best interest to be, especially when you're feeling happy. They want to do everything they can to take credit for that and then also deflate you at the same time. It's so weird that they want to do that, but they will do that. They will try to rain on your parade, downplay all the successes that you have made for yourself and all your achievements and awards that you have worked so hard to gain. They will find a way to either make it about themselves or minimize that for you. And then being judgmental. Everyone, and I did an episode on being judgmental. If you have been breathing, which I hope all of you are out there, are healthy and staying healthy, then you know that either you have judged someone, and I'm guilty of that, or you have been judged. And I think it's just human. It's just being human. You just have to keep it in check. And remember, would you want to be on the receiving end of the judgmental behaviors? No, you do not. So let that be your North Star that you are going to follow, and your conscience be your guide in not being judgmental, because no one likes being on the receiving end of it. I know I don't. So make sure if you're with someone that is being judgmental, put those boundaries in place. They're not going to see it the way you see it. So pick your battles. Don't try to force yourself into a battle with them knowing that they're just going to come out on top judging you and trying to beat you down emotionally. You don't need to be putting yourself in that situation. Negativity. Some people just wake up negative. They just get up on the wrong side of the bed, as the saying goes, and they just see life through a very distorted, very negative point of view. And they need to change their prescription, right? If they're wearing glasses and they're seeing life negatively, they need to change their prescription in their way of thinking and the way that they view life. Because when you're around someone who's negative, what does that do to you? Doesn't that make you just feel drained? Doesn't that make you just feel like you have to get away? I've been around people like that. I've worked with people like that. I couldn't stand it. So I tried to minimize my interactions with them as much as possible because I couldn't take it. I'm a very positive person. I try to be. And when I'm around people that are negative, I cannot stand the way it makes me feel. It makes me feel like I've been working in the yard all day and I'm all yucky and I just need to come inside and change my shower and change my clothes and get clean. I mean, I just feel like that I just have to run away and do something, do a positive mental flush and clean my mind out after being around negative people because they're so draining. They will try their dead level best to get you to see things their way, to think about life their way, so that they can either manipulate you or so they can just maybe feel like that you're on their side. I don't know. But I will say put some boundaries in place and don't take that and apply that to your life. You'll be able to know who you're around. Just like I said earlier, go with your gut feeling. And if someone has that negative look, negative feel, negative vibe, and they are saying negative things, good Lord in heaven, stay away from them. Put a boundary in place. Be polite, but just put a boundary in place, okay? All right. How many of you have been around toxic people that are passive aggressive? And these behaviors can manifest in so many different ways, either nonverbals or verbals. You'll hear them. And so this is very hostile, right? It is type of environment that you don't want to be around because you know someone's always going to be saying this sly comment, these little jabs that are forms of passive aggression that include like sabotaging efforts that you're trying to do, or purposely doing something to make it inconvenient for someone else, especially like yourself. They don't care. They're just there to derail the train of success, and they are there to do whatever they can to manipulate you and cause harm, maybe emotionally or career-wise, to you. So make sure that you keep a boundary in place and watch your steps around people that are passive-aggressive. Self-centeredness. Now, there's a lot of people that are in work environments that are against each other. Instead of working in unity and in unison and getting the job done, they are opposing each other. And it could be for various reasons. Self-centeredness lies in all of us. I just think that we need to keep it in check. You need to take care of yourself, of course, but always have that helpful nature. And if you're around someone that just sucks all the air out of the room when they walk in, they're pretty self-centered, and then you're starving for oxygen just to kind of survive there, because it's very, very draining to be around them. You just know that it's all about them when they walk in the room. They don't think about anybody else. They don't think about their actions or how they affect people. They are just self-centered and all about themselves, and whatever is entertaining them for the moment, that's good. But if you're on the chopping block or whatever, then they're going to do everything in their power to overpower you by their self-centeredness. So make sure that you try to pick your battles with people that are self-centered, because they're always going to focus on what they want, and it's unlikely that they're ever going to focus on what your needs are and what you want. So be careful with that. Difficulty with anger management. In working with toxic people, they will explode, or they will make you feel like you have to walk on eggshells around them, like tiptoeing around, and that's not healthy. And so I just encourage you to be careful if you are working around someone or you're dating someone. That's not healthy at all, and you need to make sure that you are trying to find somewhere to go that's safe, or that you're able to kind of work through that in a way that you know you're going to be okay at the end of the day. You should never be in a relationship or work somewhere where you feel like you have to walk on eggshells and constantly apologize for things that you know you probably didn't even do, but they've made you feel like you have done something. That's not healthy. In controlling behaviors, one of the most dangerous traits of toxic people is controlling behaviors. And they may try to restrict you from contacting family, friends, your social media. They may want they may want access to your phone codes, your passwords, you name it. They're going to try to control every step of the way of your life. That is totally unhealthy, and you deserve better. So you don't need to be around that. Or you may be micromanaged from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And it is one of those things when you step in at work and they want to know when you're going to the bathroom, how long your break's going to be, when you're coming back, did you get X, Y, and Z done? And they may just be that type of leader, but that's unhealthy. That's toxic. So you may have to have a third party step in and try to encourage them that there's better leadership techniques that they can use when you're in your work environment, and it's going to be less controlling, at least it seems that way. Because you're going to lose your whole compassion for your occupation if you work in an environment that's like that for too long. And then if you're in a relationship that's very controlling, red flags, I just got through telling you, that could be very dangerous and can lead to many domestic abuse cases, and you don't want to be on the receiving end of that. So hopefully some of these traits that I've shared with you today about toxic people, that you've been able to kind of relate with and kind of do a self-assessment, that if you have people, including relatives, in your own life that are that way, and that you always feel like you have to keep your guard up, you may not want to have them in your life readily available. Put some boundaries in place. I'm not just saying totally stop talking to them, but protect yourself, right? Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. That's part of your self-care, because you deserve to be around people that appreciate you, that love you, and enjoy being around you, and not are out there to try to get you to get one over on you, or to be your little be your post where they can just sit there and hit on you, and you have to take it emotionally, physically, whatever. Just put some boundaries in place, and please, I hope that you have recognized these traits as unhealthy, and if you are experiencing that you will reach out and get help with that. All right? You deserve to live a happy life, and you will live a happy life, but you have to make those positive choices for yourself. And so Othel is going to read today's review, and I will take a moment and allow him to do that, and then I'll be back to close up today's episode.
And today, I will be reading a review from Mackenzie Clevenger, and it states, Captain Gordon is very knowledgeable and credible. Mood Food is definitely worth the listen. We would like to thank Mackenzie for that great comment. And if you would like to have your comment reviewed on Mood Food, please send us a comment at moodfoodpodcast@gmail.com or on Apple Podcasts. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much, Othel, for reading today's review. We really appreciate that. And for everyone, if you leave us a review on the Apple Podcast platform, we are reading them weekly. So please keep those reviews coming. We appreciate that. We're going to read them, and they mean a lot to us. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for today's broadcast of Mood Food. Please make sure that you subscribe to us, that you rate us, you like us, you recommend us to all of your family and friends. And remember the disclaimer at the beginning that Kim read for us. We're always going to stick to that. And remember to keep your mood full of positive mental food. And I'm going to leave you today with a few quotes here. These are some great quotes here. And they came from Pinterest and also from Mental Health America. And we hope that you enjoy these quotes today. There's 3 of them. They're getting more and more and more. So I would only read 1, and now I'm reading 2, and now I'm going to read 3. So this is something that I hope that you find encouraging and helpful out there, especially if you're living with someone that's toxic. The biggest wall you've got to climb is the one you build in your mind. I don't know who the author is of that quote, but I found it. It was a good quote. This next one is also unknown. Not everyone will appreciate you in what you do for them. You have to figure out who's worth your kindness and who's just taking advantage of you. And the last one today is, there comes a point in your life when you realize who matters, who never did, who won't anymore, and who always will. And in the end, you learn who is fake, who is true, and who would risk it all for you. Thank you so much, everyone. I pray and hope that you are remaining safe and well out there. Thanks for all your support of the Mood Food Podcast. And until the next episode, we will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone, and please be safe.